Hi, I'm Carrie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a VR to Kay over at Amidst the Gray on her hashtag coffee house decks. But I'm going to do a little spin on it, and I'm using nothing but oracles to answer her categories. The reason I chose to do an all oracle coffee house decks is because I own a ton of oracles, and I've only been on YouTube 5 months now, and I've done several VRs for people. And when I went back and looked in my description boxes of those VRs, I showed a lot of the same decks over and over. So I thought it would be a nice challenge to do all oracles for this tag. So let's get started. So our first drink is the espresso shot. This is a deck that is strong, punchy, and gets to the point. And for that, I chose Colette Baron Reid's The Enchanted Map Oracle by Hay House. It has 54 cards in it. I'm sure everybody has seen this deck. This is the remastered version of it with the borderless edition, and she changed a couple of the cards in here. This deck is a favorite of mine. I have the original. I got the original when it first came out, and this is the deck that led me away from, I think, Doreen Virtue's decks. It has a nice balance of shadow and light. It doesn't have keywords on the cards as much as it just has like card titles, but I don't feel that you really need a keyword. You can kind of go off the image and the card title in itself. The reason I chose this for the espresso shot is because this deck, it gets to the point every time I've ever used it. It's never hem-hawed around, made me question what the reading is, not understand it. It's always been right there with exactly what I needed to hear. It's a strong deck in my collection because if I'm feeling lost or if I'm unsure which oracle to pull, this is one that is a go-to of mine. So this is why I chose it for the espresso shot in the coffee drinks. The next coffee drink is the drip. This deck is simple, accessible, and gets the job done. And for that, I chose When My Soul Whispered Oracle. It is by Melissa Salvaggio. It's put out by US Games, and it is 44 cards. I fell in love with this deck really this year when I did year ahead readings for my clients, because I used this deck in combination with some tarot cards. And it is exactly that. It's simple. It's, basically just your image, a keyword, white based, has the chakra colors in it. But it really adds a little bit more to your reading, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I've pulled cards with it on its own. It's easily accessible. Like I said, it's mass market now. It used to be indie. And it's nice, and it's pocket size, and it's just a wonderful little deck to have in your collection, even with the simplicity of it, with just the word and the one image on it. It really packs a punch in readings. And that's why I picked this one for the drip. The next category is the pour over. This deck you want to take your time with, but it's worth the effort. And for that, I chose the Herbal Astrology Oracle. It is put out by Hay House. It's by Adriana Ayales. Artwork by Josephine Clerks. It's a 55 card deck with guidebook. I can't tell you much about this deck yet because I have not worked with it. But when I do work with it, I really want to take my time with it. If you've been on my channel for longer than a minute, you know that I am trying to learn a little bit more about astrology, because I just know very, very little. And when I saw multiple walkthroughs of this deck, I just thought I had to have it. I like the herbal associations, and that is something else I want to get a stronger knowledge base on, is the herbs. And I like the fact that it ties in with astrology. So I am going to go slow with this deck, take my time with it, and hopefully gain a lot of knowledge from it. But this is the deck that I chose for the pour over. The next category is the Cafe Latte. This deck is well received and highly palatable. And the deck I chose for that is the Roots and Wings Oracle. This is by Kat Rials. And I found this deck on Etsy, but you can also get it from her website. Here is her information. This is obviously an independent deck. Let me see, does it tell me how many cards are in here? Because I don't remember. But this is another simple deck with a lot of white space, like the When My Soul Whispered. But I do feel that this deck is highly palatable, because I have never seen a bad thing said about this deck. It is wonderful. It's a well-balanced deck. It's great as its own reader or to add to readings. It gives wonderful one-card readings, multiple card readings. It is an easy reader with the keyword and the picture, all her hand-drawn art. It's absolutely lovely. This is the first Oracle that I ended up owning 2 copies of. Now, I know I have 2 copies of the Enchanted Map, but this was the very first one that I ever owned 2 copies of, because I don't ever want to not be able to have this deck, I guess. And I didn't know if it was ever going to go out of print or whatever. So I use one as a travel deck when we go anywhere, and I keep one here in pristine condition. But this is what I pick for the highly palatable, the Cafe Latte. So I am going to skip the cappuccino category, because I really couldn't find an oracle that I felt was classic, sophisticated, and fussy. So my next category is the MOCHA. This deck is rich, indulgent, and a bit extra. And I picked Postcards from the Liminal Space. This deck is out of print. That's why one of the reasons I put it in this category. I don't know about rich and indulgent, but I did feel that maybe this deck was a bit extra. I was trying to see if the it's created by Baccarat Whitner and Christian Berry, illustrated by Kaylee Christensen. I need like a magnifying glass to see that on the back. But the reason I put this in the MOCHA as a bit extra, like I said, is because it's out of print. But it's basically the pictures and the sayings on the deck that just made me feel that it's a bit extra. I don't use this deck that often. I really thought when I got it that I would use it a lot more than what I do, but it's nothing I would ever get rid of. I do enjoy having it. I just think it has its place for certain readings. So it's definitely not one that I would pick up and read with all the time, you know, like my Enchanted Map or River Roots and Wings, or anything like that. This is just a kind of, you know, once in a while oracle, you know, like padded room, but you have the beach. I just feel it's, you know, a bit extra in its sayings. So that is why I put it into the mocha category. The next category is the Cortado. It's balanced and objective. And I picked the Dreamer's Journey Major Arcana Oracle, the Pocket Edition by Allison Williams Yee. This is an indie deck. I found this on Etsy. She also does the Soul Trees oracles. I spent all of January working with this deck. It's nice and it's little tiny. I love it. It's a perfect travel size deck. But because it's the major, based on the major arcana, it is very well balanced in dark and light. This has 48 cards to it. There is no guidebook or anything like that. It's just the image and then the title and the keywords that are below it. And this deck is wonderful. It is very well balanced and it's very objective, just like the title of this category. I had no problem using this deck on its own, and I had no problem pairing it with a tarot. I really preferred using it on its own though, especially since it's based on the major arcana in the tarot. So I did really like using it by itself. I had wonderful readings with it, and this is going to become a staple in my practice. I would have kept on using it if I didn't have so many other decks that I wanted to work with this year. But yes, this is definitely a deck to check out. So the next category is the Con Panna or Con Panna, which I have never had that drink in my life. But this is a deck that puts you in your place with sweetness. And the oracle that I chose was the little oracle that I made for myself. I think it was like 3 years ago. If I could go back and not put the laminate on it, I would, but there's nothing I can do now. When I made this deck, I spent months picking out, cutting out magazine images and saving little bits from books or postcards, calendars, and so on. And I spent a lot of time putting this deck together for myself and tried to make sure that it was a balance of like light and shadow. And when I've spent time just pulling one card from it, you know, during the week, it will always tell me exactly what I need to hear, including if it's shut the F up. It will always tell me exactly what I need. I guess that's because I've put so much of my own energy into it. But this is the only deck that I felt fit into this category where it would put me in my place, but with a little bit of sweetness because, like I said, I'm the one that made this deck for myself. So the next category is the Chai Latte, a warm, cozy, nurturing deck. And I had to put in an angel deck, which there's another one of those coming, and that is the Archangel Michael Sword of Light Oracle by Radley Valentine, illustrations by Echo Chernick, and this is a Hay House deck, and it has 44 cards in it. I haven't really fully worked with this deck yet, But Archangel Michael is a very special archangel to me. I've worked with that energy a lot in over the years of my practice. I've worked with that energy specifically for a long period of time. So anytime I think of archangels and nurturing, I go right to him. And I couldn't think of any other deck that would go in this category but the Archangel Michael deck. Now I do have Doreen's original Archangel Michael Oracle, and that could slip right into this slot just as easily. But since I had this one readily available in my cabinet, I thought this is the one that I would show, and the other one's not in print any longer, and so that's why I thought this would be the better choice. But yes, it's a very special energy for me to work with. And like I said, I couldn't see any other deck sitting here in its place. And this is the chai latte. So the next category we have is the mocha latte. This deck is an acquired taste and unconventional. And the deck I picked was the deck of character. This is created by Hannah Norowski or Wonarski. I got this when it first came out, so I don't know, four years ago maybe, because this is the first edition. I know it went out of print, but I'm pretty sure she's going to print a second edition of this. So in case you've never heard of it, what is the deck of character? And I'll read off of the little card. It's the deck of character is a modern oracle designed to spark thoughtful conversation. With the cards face down, ask a question, then select cards at random to see what you get. This is a tool of self-reflection to be used as you like. You could play along or in a group, share your thoughts out loud, or write them down. Be inventive and follow your intuition. People around the world are creating their own gaming styles. The deck is about self-empowerment, speaking your truth. We are all badasses. There is no little white book for this. There is no meanings. Now, she does have meanings on her website, and I wrote a few of them down, but it's basically, use your intuition. Excuse me. How I use it is sometimes when I'm pulling all my weekly tarots and oracles and this and that, I will get this out. I will separate them into characters, tools, and places, and I will pull one card for each and try to form like a sentence or an outcome or something like that, almost like Lenormand. That's how I am using this deck, or have used this deck. I have not played with it in quite some time. It's a deck I need to get out again, but it's very unique. It's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but I love it because you can go so many different ways with it and make it truly your own. So it definitely is an acquired taste. And you don't have to separate them out. You could mix them all together if you wanted to do that. Like I said, she has some ideas of what to do on her website. The deck of character, I'm pretty sure it's just deckofcharacter.com website. Yeah, the deckofcharacter.com. But it is an acquired taste for sure. I don't really know anybody else that has this deck. So if you do happen to have this deck and are watching this video, make sure you leave me a comment below and tell me how you use it. Because I'm always looking for different ways to put this deck to use. So the next category is the hot chocolate. This deck speaks to your younger version of yourself. The deck I picked, this speaks to the younger version of myself, is the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle by Amanda Lovelace. And does this say how many? Publisher Andrews McMeel Publishing, and it doesn't say the amount of cards in this deck. And I don't know. I don't know offhand. Why does this speak to my inner child or inner teen? It speaks to my inner teen. And I had a very abusive childhood. I'm not going to mince words about that. So this deck speaks to my inner teen because this is the empowerment that I needed as a teen that I didn't have as a teen. I needed some of these words of encouragement that are on here. I needed the guidance of, you know, swim away from this situation, that I deserved sugar and not salt. I needed to hear those things, and it wasn't available to me. So even though I don't use this deck that often, it would never ever leave my collection because it speaks to the heart of me. And like I said, it speaks to that younger version of me that needed all of this guidance and it wasn't available, like I said, to me. And it holds a very special place in my heart because of that. So this is my hot chocolate deck. The next category is the Italian soda. This deck is low key and not fun. Oh wait, I'm sorry. This deck is fun, low key, and not overly serious. And for that, I picked the Spiritual AF inspirational cards. So if you have a problem with the F word, I suggest you just fast forward past this right now. This little inspiration deck is put out by knocknockstuff.com. I picked my copy up off of Amazon, and the creator is Roxanne McDonald, and I just love her. I follow her on Instagram, and she is just awesome. I don't know what else to say about her. But yeah, these are just like little messages, and then you get the fuller message on the back. And this is just, I mean, this deck is just tells you right like it is. Doesn't, will call you on your crap, which I guess it could have fallen in the espresso shot, but it's a lot of fun. This deck is a lot of fun. For several months at the beginning of last year, on Saturday nights, on Saturday nights, our teenage son, he's now 18, so me, our teenage son, and my husband, we would pull a card to give us a message for the week. And we all just got a kick out of it. It was a great, bonding moment with our son. And he absolutely loved it. But it was just something fun to do as a family. And so that deck holds a special place because of that. But yes, this deck is absolutely awesome. But if you have a problem with the F word, then I would kind of steer clear of it. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And this is my Italian soda. So the last category is the Herbal Tea. This deck takes it down a notch and helps you to unwind. And I went back and forth, and I couldn't choose between these two decks, so I decided to show both of them, and that is the Power of Surrender cards by Judith Orloff and the Angel Guide Oracle by Kyle Gray. Both are published by Hay House. This is the Power of Surrender cards is a 52 card deck, and the Angel Guide Oracle is a 44 card deck. The Power of Surrender cards. Let me see if I can. Okay. The Power of Surrender cards I use in the evenings, especially if it's been a very high stressful day. I can't shut my mind off. I'm, trying to de-stress in that. And this tells me exactly what I need to let go of in order to find some peace at the end of my day. It's beautiful. There's no guidebook. It's just a surrender to, and then you're saying here at the bottom. The Angel Guide Oracle is my absolute favorite angel oracle of Kyle Gray's. It tells me, it helps me calm. It gives me calming energy. Let's put it that way. It gives me calming energy when I most need it. When I'm feeling lost with no direction, I will pull this deck and pull a single card, and that's it. I pair it with my other tarot, but I just love using this deck on its own. Just to get the messages from the angel, pull in that energy. It's just exactly what I need. And I would say these are the two most calming and serene decks that I have that can, really help you unwind and move past that like state of stress. So that is it. Those are all my oracles for the hashtag Coffee House decks. Thanks so much for creating this tag, Kay. I really enjoyed watching everybody's videos. I know I tend to say that a lot when I've completed a VR, but I do really enjoy the videos. And I hope you enjoyed my oracle take on the tag. So thanks for being here today and taking time to watch this video. I really appreciate you. Until next time, bye.